Welcome everybody to the Chess Lab. I just finished working. Today is super early, but the grind never ends. So what I want to do today is, there is a line. Of course I have my repertoire, as you know, the Semislav with black against d4, the Caro-Kann with black against e4, and from white perspective I have one knight f3. And my black repertoire against d4 is based on Nate Solon course 100 repertoire Semislav. Now there is this line here, which ends in this position here on move 14, so it's a very long line. However, the first 11 moves are almost forced. They're not forced, obviously, but they're very likely to happen because of some reasons that I'm about to talk to you about. But basically it starts here, and here there is this last comment. Black has great compensation for the pawn, because we just sacrificed the pawn, but I'm about to show you the line. All of our pieces are finding great squares, and white has a weak pawn on d4. And all of these things are true. However, since this is my main repertoire, and I'm playing it potentially even over the board, potentially even against very strong players, together with you guys, I wanted to go into the depths of this opening, and let me put it here on dark mode, so perhaps it's a little bit easier on your eyes. My eyes don't really care about that, but you know, maybe it's a little bit more enjoyable for you. So here's the thing. We are about to go into the depths of that line. We are about to go nerd mode. Absolute nerd mode, which is what I love to do. So d4, d5, c4, c6, and of course white moves, we are assuming them, right? They can play anything at any point. Well, not this, but let's say knight to c3. If they play knight f3 and then knight c3, doesn't really matter, it's just a matter of transposition. Knight f6, knight c3, and now we play e6. So this is the Semislav. Once you see the triangle formation with the knight on f6 against this thing, this is the Semislav. Okay, now they have two main moves, e3 and bishop to g5. e3 is an invitation to go back to some sort of Meran's positions, right? Even though after e3, our repertoire is actually to go a6. And there is a whole chapter on that, which I studied, but it's a whole other discussion. However, the main move, or at least one of the big possibilities, is bishop to g5. This is called, perhaps the Moscow, I don't even know how it's called. No, it doesn't even have a name. After you take and you go for h6, this is like the Moscow or something, but this is a big theoretical move. And, you know, at the lower level, it's difficult to reach this position because they kind of deviate first, or they take or something. However, if you are above, I would say, 2000 Lichess Rapid, or perhaps 2200, 2100 Lichess Blitz, perhaps, even though Blitz is a little bit different, many people go for bishop g5. I remember when I played the Semislav, because I was studying Sam Shankland's course. He also has a repertoire on the Semislav, even though that's not the course I'm basing my repertoire off of, as of right now. Bishop g5 was a big move, and Sam had the Cambridge Springs, but he also has a chapter that he added later on the d takes c4 line, which is the main line. And in this course that I'm studying for my repertoire, Nate Solon actually shows d takes c4. Nate Solon is like, yeah, let's go for it. And so that's what we are going to investigate. However, after d takes c4, we win a pawn. They play e4. They are attacking the pawn and they are threatening to win our knight. And the big move here is b5. Now, before I go into this, the first time that I saw this line was, well, it's not the very first. The very first time was probably in some games that I saw of grandmasters analyzed by an Italian YouTuber in Italian, Davido, the GOAT of YouTube chess in Italy. And he was analyzing some games of I don't know who, perhaps even Agatmator, I don't know. And I was seeing this from the white side, and I kind of liked it, even though I didn't know nothing about chess. Not that I know anything now, but you know what I mean. We are talking about like 8, 9, 10 years ago. And later, I resaw this line from Hanging Pawns, you know? And Hanging Pawns is, of course, a YouTube channel. I can't remember the name of the guy. Tomic, perhaps, something. Dude, I can't remember. Well, Hanging Pawns, very famous, I'm sure you know it. And he was playing the Semi-Slav, and this was a big theoretical battleground that he was exploring. He actually had some sparring games, if I'm not mistaken, with like an international master or something, or maybe, I don't know, I don't remember specifically, but Hanging Pawns, the guy behind the channel, is and he's a candidate master, so very strong player. He's a big proponent of this line, as many strong players are. And I kind of resaw it again with him, and I didn't like it for black. I really didn't like it. However, one day I was working on, self-improvement, my mindset and all these things. And I realized that, if you want to improve in your life, by definition, you have to change, right? But in order to change, you have eventually come across something that you feel instinctually wrong, and you still have to do it, right? And so this line here, I didn't like it at all, but objectively, many grandmasters play it. This is a big theoretical battleground, so I'm like, what if I force myself to investigate it instead of rejecting it? And so I studied it with Sam Shankland's course, and then I played some games, and I was crushing it. I was absolutely crushing it. I love this line now. So all I'm saying is, if you're a beginner, you're watching this, and you're like, why am I moving these pawns randomly and all that? Give it a shot. It's really, really, really easy to play for black in certain situations. Because yes, it's a big theoretical battleground, and if you watch Hanging Pawns videos, at some point he lost to an international master because he didn't know like a move on move like 17, 18, and his opponent did. But the problem is he was playing an international master. And not only was playing an international master, he was playing an international master that specializes in this line from the white side. So he wasn't just playing a regular player when it comes to this line, he was playing an expert in it, a professional expert in it. So, in real life, if you just know a little bit about this line, you're going to crush your opponents. I had tremendous success. The last speedrun I did, well, not a speedrun, but let's say road to whatever, and I was like playing against 2100s, 2200s, and I was crushing them. It was absolutely fantastic. So, okay, but let's go back to this. So we play b5, we defend the pawn, allowing e5. And here the knight's hit, he's pinned. Of course, you don't lose the piece, obviously. You play h6, and now if they take your knight, you take their bishop, and the line basically ends here in Nate Solon's course, and there's just pressure here. You're about to play g4. If they play h3, you still play g4 because the pawn is pinned, and you will win the central pawn. It's just catastrophe for white. So here the main move is, well, it's not a catastrophe if they end up following with no blunders, but is inferior for them. So bishop h4 is the main move, and here again there is the problem of this knight, so you play g5. And here is a little bit complicated because black is up a pawn, but now white sacrifices the knight, but of course in the end, if you visualize just a second, you'll see that the knight is going to be lost, and so they regain back the piece. So now material technically is equal because they regain a pawn. And now we are up a piece. And now we are up a piece for one pawn, meaning white got a pawn back, but they're about to get the piece back as well. So now when it comes to the pawns, they have 7, and we have only 6. However, we are up a piece, but we're about to lose it. So, and here is the big moment. Here, the main move is knight b to d7, and this is what Sam Shankland's recommend, and this is a fantastic move. This is what I've been playing so far. Knight b d7 is, I love the resulting positions. I love them, okay? It's so beautiful to play for black. And I used to hate it. This is crazy. It's truly true that in order to make the next leap, you have to go outside of your comfort zone. It's not just a, how do you say, stereotypical quote or something. Like, it's really true. But okay, here Nate Solon doesn't recommend knight bd7, mainly because of theoretical limitations, which means it's just a bunch of theory, which again is an argument, but is also not. Depends the level you play at. This is such a beautiful move, but again, me personally, because of time constraint that I have when it comes to studying chess, I have to choose the move that Solons recommends for time reasons, okay? So I'm gonna go with bishop e7, and this is the line we're exploring today, bishop e7, and here, if it's our turn to move again, we just move the knight, and we are up a piece. Because now the knight is not pinned anymore. Bishop e7 breaks the pin. Knight bd7, which is the main move, doesn't break the pin, but because the knight is lost anyways, and knight bd7 is arguably a little bit more optimal for different reasons than bishop e7, but it doesn't matter. Bishop e7 used to be considered inferior because of human analysis, but latest engines has revived it. So this is absolutely playable. But we're going to check with the engine in local. Here I have N-Croissant open in another tab. If I click here, you'll see it. So we are going to go into big depth with the engine, so don't worry about it. Like latest Stockfish, big depth, don't worry, we're gonna enjoy it. So here, they take with the pawn. If they take with the bishop, because if they take with the pawn, we take with the bishop, they take with the bishop, we take with the queen, is the same as they take with the bishop, and then, sorry, is the same as, well, it doesn't matter, right? Whether they take with the pawn or with the bishop, if we take everything and the queen ends up here on f6, that's a position. However, if they take with the pawn first, and we take with the bishop, they don't have to take and reach this position. I'm gonna show it really well. After bishop e7, if they take with the bishop, well, now again, we are up a piece. They have to take back. So after bishop takes f6, from this position here, if they play bishop takes f6, this position must be reached, unless white loses, okay? So this is forced. However, after e takes f6 and bishop takes f6, sure, if they take, we will reach the same position. If I click here or here, as you can see, you know, it's interchangeable, it's the same position. However, after e takes f6, bishop takes, they also have one other move. Now, this pawn's hanging, so, and the bishop's hanging. So they either take, but again, this is the same as taking with the bishop immediately, and then with the pawn, which is this line here. Or they defend both the bishop and the pawn without trading bishops, and the only way to do it is bishop e3. And bishop e3 is like, you know, when you look at this, you are a beginner or you are an intermediate, or even like if you are 2000 feet, let's be real, like even if you are 2200 feet, come on, man, let's be real, everyone, underdog, they just take. Because you just take. There is a lot of pressure here, there is pressure here. You need to understand this bishop e7 move is quite less frequent than knight bd7, with the bishop still here, obviously, right? So it can be already a surprise. I'm sure the international master that hanging pawn faced knows bishop e7, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't know like literally everything in it, but he probably does. But, you know, 99% of everyone else ever, they may not be super familiar with bishop e7. I mean, listen, the main move is knight bd7, and I'm telling you, 2100, 2200s only chess, they are not familiar with it. Because after like a couple of moves, they blunder. It's crazy, like they take, and then eventually we reach a position where I long castle or something. There are lines that I don't remember them anymore. And then I play like knight e5 because the rook is pinned to the queen, and they already blunder things. It's crazy. So, and it's super mainline. So yeah, if they don't know the main line, how can they know this? So 99.9% of players already don't know what's going on, and when a player doesn't know what's going on, they're probably just gonna simplify. They most likely just take with the bishop really first, ending up in this position. But again, after a bishop e7, e takes f6, bishop takes f6, they can take transposing, or they can go back to e3. Now the funny thing is, one of the very few times that I've reached this position online, playing online in these very few days, the last few days, This is not a game I showed in the videos because I played it previously, but they played bishop e3. They absolutely did play bishop e3 in one of those games. So bishop e3 is a move that some people play. Some people, despite being surprised, they react in a very very unique way, which is to keep the tension and trying to keep it together. It's very respectable, actually. But of course, it makes us need to know what to do against it. So bishop e3. Now, these positions are quite tricky. Again, keep in mind the human analysis by masters and grandmasters for dozens, if not hundreds of years, stated that here, this move is inferior, is better knight bd7. Only computer analysis is showing that this move is actually playable. So all these positions here are made possible mainly by engine analysis. Now, you don't have to be too depressed by this information because after bishop takes, the main line is indeed bishop takes, queen takes, and g3. So probably this is the type of lines that the human analysis were not convinced against, because after bishop b7 and bishop to b2, threatening knight takes b5, you straight up sacrifice the knight with knight a6 and crazy positions ensues where white apparently can just get away with taking, but in reality there are crazy complications, because after you castle there is tremendous pressure here, knight here, there are crazy checkmates on move 17, like unbelievable. A buy Nate Solon course for that is truly beautiful. But, bishop e3 I don't think is one of those lines that the human analysis were like, oh my goodness, as black I don't know what to do. However, here you have to be careful. So now we start to explore it. We are still not at the critical position. We are still in Nate Solon's course. We still haven't, went into the sea. We are still on the beach. the sailors haven't left yet, but still very interesting. So here white wants to go knight to e4 and then even knight to c5. And the point is not to take our bishop, which, hey, if they get to do it, they may do it, is just another option, an added option, I should say. But if they reach c5, even if we take their knight with our knight, let's say, well, then you imagine these, they don't take here, which they could, but they go here, we take. Then the problem is this bishop here. They are basically trying to play against our bishop, because after bishop b7, if we decide to play that, we can never play c5, because there is a pawn here, because of this knight immolation. So here the main move is bishop b7, this is Nate Solon's suggestion, and here indeed knight to e4 is the main considered move, and this is what in that game that I was previously talking about they played against me. And here this bishop's under attack, well, it's not under attack but is pressured, and this square's under attack. And again, they want to go knight c5, so after we take with any piece, let's say bishop e7, knight here, take, this bishop's dead. The problem is here we go c5. Seems not possible, but we go c5. And this knight's under attack, so if they take with the pawn, they just lose the piece. If they take here with check, then taking here is potentially dangerous, because after all, if you think about it, they are basically getting rid of our double pawns, they are opening this up, and after we take it, we have a strong passed pawn. This bishop is slicing the board. If they try to fork us, there are checks. Doesn't really work. So, the best shot is to take here with a knight. But this seems beautiful, right? Because they just want a pawn. If we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're down a pawn. Their knight reaches the beautiful c5 square and the bishop's hanging. However, here is the thing. Now the move is bishop d5, and this feels very engine-like, so maybe this line also was revitalized by the engines. And here's the thing, the knight, I said, the knight reaches the beautiful c5 square, but don't forget, And this is the starting position, okay? If we go back on here, this is the starting position. And here it says, black has great compensation for the pawn, all of our pieces are finding great squares, and white has a weak pawn on d4, right? We can actually copy-paste this comment into here, boom, okay? And also Nate Solon, okay? This is where it ends, okay? Now, here's the thing. It's very important you keep your memory working, okay? When we go here, right? Remember what's their plan. Their plan is to reach c5 with a knight, sure, but why? Because if we take it, and even if we don't take it, the bishop that is on b7 can never be liberated because of the pawn stuck on c6. So c5 is a physical block. However, after bishop b7, knight e4, c5, I said we are down a pawn, white reaches the beautiful c5 square, but that's wrong. I said it on purpose, it was a provocation. It's like the only negative aspect of this position is that we are down a pawn. The fact that white's knight is on c5, in this position here, because of our liberatory sacrifice, it's irrelevant. This knight is doing nothing on c5 per se. The point was to be a blockade for our pawn that cannot be pushed. And in case we trade it, the pawn replaces the knight and is still a physical blockade. So in this position here, our bishop is free. So the knight on c5 means nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, when I say that it means nothing, it's not completely irrelevant. It's still a knight that is not too far away from our pieces, but at the same time is not a very dangerous knight. So the knight on c5 is a secondary order concern, to say the least. Is probably not even that. And our bishop is great. We have some pressure here on the king side. We have a 3 against 2 on the queen side, and we have nice squares for our pieces. However, I'll be honest with you, the fact that we are down a pawn, and of course, as Solon says, this is weak. You know, here's the thing. I don't feel too comfortable with this position. It feels kind of loose. However, this is just my personal impression. Is it truly loose? Is it truly not so good? Well, it's time to find out. So from here, in the game that I was playing online, I was very happy because I'm like, okay, at least I reached the position, meaning I was happy that I remember theory. If you follow my previous videos, you realize that I'm big on remembering my theory before anything else. However, here something a little bit annoying happened, which is my opponent played a4. My opponent played a4. And I don't remember what I did, because if I take here, I'm like, wait, if I take here, they can just check me, and I can't interpose with the queen, and they're about to take my pawn, and then this is weak, and it's not clear where my king is gonna go. What's going on? Now I'm realizing that if this falls, this also falls, but it's tricky. It's truly tricky. And I think I ended up playing b4. And then, and it seems decent because you're about to play a5, the 3 against 2 is moving, but then they played rook c1. And I didn't know what to do. And I think I ended up losing a pawn, and I think I lost the game. I couldn't find it. I tried to find it before on my chess.com account because that's where I think I played it, but I couldn't find it. So maybe I played it on the phone where I have yet another account. But I was really like, a4, I'm like, what do I do? And so, you know, now what do? We go on en-croissant. Here we go. So en-croissant is basically like chess base, with the exception that is much more limited in functions and it's free. It's open source. You can load Stockfish on it. You can actually load all these engines on it automatically. Like if I want Komodo, I can just click, Komodo here, install, and it installs it. Like I didn't have to import Stockfish from the Stockfish website. It's already embedded in en-croissant. So it's very, very nice. And again, it's free, like actually free. And it runs on your local computer. So, you know, if you have a crappy computer, that's also a limitation. But let's be real. Unless you are preparing for the World Chess Championship match, it's fine. It's better than nothing. So okay, we reach this position, and it's time to run Stockfish. Let's see what Stockfish says. Okay, so there are 3 lines. I'm gonna go with 2 lines. The last line, of course, the faster it is. While it loads, I'm gonna go. And by the way, this position is slightly better for black, as you can see. It's the first time that I check it with the engine. I really didn't know, but it seems like it's not that bad. I'm already seeing that a4 is second best move, and queen a5 check is what you're supposed to do, but we're going to explore it. After queen a5 check, I was concerned about bishop d2, but perhaps now you can play b4. So, a4, queen here, check, bishop here, and now you push with some crazy ideas, but of course this has to be explored. And this is one of those positions that intuitively, humanly speaking, is very tricky. And so, if I'm able to kind of understand what's going on here, I think I'm going to do all right practically in my games. Again, I'm going to take something to drink, namely water, and I'm going to be back in a second. Okay, I have my water with me, and I'm just letting Stockfish run. But yeah, I mean the fact that is minus 0.4 or whatever, even if it was minus 0.2, okay, like we are down a pawn. And humanly speaking, it seems like our king is the more exposed, but it's just... I think this just proves how weak I am at evaluating chess. And I'm not being sarcastic, like, genuinely. And the more I look at this position, the more I'm like, yeah, why is my king not safe? It's irrational fears. Okay, so I don't know to which depth to go because I don't want to take forever. I have things to do. So, okay, a4, right? That's the move that kind of concerned me. There are actually multiple possibilities here, which is nice to see. There's knight d7, wow. If knight d7 ends up being the main move, I'm going to play knight d7. I prefer knight d7 because it's more forcing. It's more forcing. It's kind of saying, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? But maybe queen a5, we'll see. And then knight c6, what? Oh, because then you take on d4. The trickery, the robbings. Yeah, queen a5 check, it seems like the engine is really big on that, but it's to be understood if it leads to a genuinely slightly better endgame with actual chances, or if it eventually fizzles out in an engine 0-0, because if that's the case, knight d7 is practically speaking superior because it keeps the game going, and with the queens on the board you still have practical chances, right? Because again, the goal is not to go into a 0-0 endgame here. The goal is to keep a game alive. That's just what it is. Yeah. Also, like, after knight d7, if this is a blunder, or if this is a blunder, you know, the sequence of moves, then it makes for a very good practical choice, especially if you're at my level, over the board, long games, not even that much. But if you're watching this and you're below 2000 on basically anything except FIDE, like if you are below 2000 in any online, if after 97 taking here is a mistake, or if after 97 take and taking here is a mistake, you probably want to play 97, because after you play 97, a beginner is very likely to either capture, because why not, or capture and then capture, because why not? Okay, so if intuitive moves are a mistake, I mean, you're gonna crash them all. The problem is, if you're a beginner, you probably, well, when I say beginner, I mean below 2000 on any website, you probably perhaps never even reach this position, because your opponents will make mistakes much earlier. Or just play some random alternative that is covering another chapter in this course. So. But if you have reached this position, and then 97, if those things are true, is probably the best practical choice. Perhaps I'm just wasting my thinking here. Okay, so listen, Stockfish 17, depth 35 thinks that 97 is best, even if depth 40 changes his mind. I think I'm just gonna go with 97, because why not? Because why not? Okay, so 97 is okay, but after queen takes d7, I'm seeing that in the engine evaluation there is h4, which hangs a pawn. So nobody's ever going to play h4. The fact that after the main two moves, a super counterintuitive move seems to be the best is amazing. So knight d7, is there a database? There are no games, or there are games here? Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna take some sweets. I have some sweets that I can take and eat. I'll be back in a second while the amazing fast database loads. Okay, no games found, but this is the local database, it's not the Lichess database. Let's see Lichess All. On Lichess All, there's always some crazy shit. Yeah. A takes b5. What am I telling you? What am I telling you? Okay. Let's keep this as main line. We take. I just want to investigate this one here. That's fascinating. Like, this is -2. This is winning for black. This is unbelievable. And it's surprisingly difficult to defend here. Wow. Okay. So a4 on d7. Let's look at the alternative. A takes b5 first. Take. Well, this is not so easy because white has these 2 pawns. They are not super well secured, but they're still very annoying. However, we have this pawn, and there is this, which is good. But the engine is, of course, clinical. And it forces a way to get this pawn here. Because if we take, then we just get the pawn here, I guess, or something. There may even be tactics, I don't know. Involving, like, bishop here after the pawn's here and the bishop's here. But rightfully so, the engine is like c3. And now if they take, check, and we pick up the rook, which I don't even know, like... Yeah, it's not even that good to pick up the rook. Look at this. The line goes crazy here. The line goes crazy. So let's pick rook a3 as main move. Simply because it seems to be the main by the engine. Rook a3, but taking here, check, bishop d2. Yeah, taking is not even contemplated. Queen f6 seems to be the favorite here. Queen f6, if they take, well, if they move up with the king, they're getting mated. So they will have to block with the queen, but then they actually lose the rook. So queen f6 is superior, the bishop cannot be captured, at least not now. So rook a3 now, check. If they block with the queen, queen d2, king d2, queen b2, that's... That's nasty. That's some nasty shit. So bishop here has to be played. But now, of course, now the bishop's hanging. So bishop takes, queen takes, and now bishop takes g2, and the whole thing collapses. This is insane. And just to show it, queen d2, check, this is pinned, so they have to do this. And it's just destruction. This is amazing, this is amazing. This is why, see, the engine sees everything. The engine sees everything. But the point is, all these lines, why it's useful to analyze with the engine, in my opinion, and is the opinion of somebody that is not even 2000 FIDE, so you should take it with a grain of salt. But is to see tactical patterns. Like, for example, here, you know, I will play bishop takes any day of the week, but now I know this extra pattern. If there is a bishop that can take the pawn with the pawn moving forward, and it's a pattern that if you play many games, you'll encounter it in different openings eventually. But why not pushing the pawn immediately? You know, especially exploiting a color complex, whether it's the dark squares here, or whether it's the light squares here. If it's flipped, then you're playing white. Like, this is nice things. And after they take again, everyone will take here, but, well, not everyone. I myself will be a little bit skeptical because, you know, if you take here, you just give them tremendous counterplay. I wouldn't be shocked if it was winning for them. Or, okay. But no, queen here. Renewing the threat, all these things. And it's just beautiful. It's just, everything falls in place very nicely together. Very nicely together. Yeah. Oh, very nice. LMAO. Okay. I'm curious what happened on rook c1, queen e5, queen d2 here. Oh, it's the same thing. So the only way to defend is this. But now bishop b3 is actually forced checkmate. No, I can't believe this. Rook here, there is long castle. Dude, what is this? What is this? What is this? Okay, let's try to import these moves into the chess, and then I'm gonna call it a day. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. So what are we looking at here? Okay. A4 we looked at here. Knight takes, A takes, perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. Very nice. What if they play B3 here? But now we can play A6 perhaps. Because taking here is not, well, it's not the end of the war, perhaps even. Yeah, maybe everything is playable here. I think that the thing is that we are so much better in development. Because the fact that there are pawns here makes our rook very active, the rook passive. Our bishops are both doing something. This guy covering the light squares, this guy pressuring d4. Their bishop is limited. He's trying to pressure, but it's not working. Their bishop's dead. So these three pieces are inferior to these three pieces. And as we saw in lines where rook b8, for example, this rook also has more potential than this rook. The queen kinda are the same, and it's funny how it looks like the black queen is better than the white queen, but it's just the same. It's just the same. Yeah, I mean, queen d6 is suggested by the engine, bishop e7. I don't know if I like those moves. I mean, rook c8 I liked. Yeah, rook c8 is human, it makes some sense. I like rook c8, quite frankly. Like queen d6, well, what is it? Rook c8. Just bringing the rook on the open file. Perhaps we want to push, perhaps we don't. You know, if you take, we take. And everything's collapsing. Let's actually look at this. Takes. C takes b3. These are not easy moves, like these are not easy positions. H4 is always the main move. I'm never looking at h4 because nobody plays h4. Because I understand that you're pushing this pawn, but h4, first of all, it's hanging, or so it seems. But also, like, the concept of pushing this pawn forward is a thing, but it seems like it's not possible to play it like right now, because it seems too risky. Also, it seems like it just bans the pawn. But okay, I'll also add this line here. b3, rook c8, takes, let's say. That's it. Okay, so this is some added analysis. I'll call it here. I'll call it a day for the added analysis. Okay, I'm gonna go back to light. Light. I much prefer it like that. I don't know, and my eyes don't get annoyed by it. So, but chessable, I like the dark mode, but not lichess. Maybe it's because I kind of like purple. Purple's one of my favorite colors, and this is kind of purple. This is just black. This is just black. Yeah. Okay, let's go back. Let's open. Let's open the repertoire tracker. You know, when I'm at work, between, you know, in breaks, I try my best to study some chess lines. The problem is my shift starts at 5 a.m., so I'm awake from 4 a.m. And, you know, it's not easy when you have a break at like 7 or something, or 10 or whatever time it is. It's not so easy to like focus on learning chess lines, even though it's not the first time I see them. I have an easy time repeating lines that I already saw, but I don't have an easy time adding new lines to repeat, if that makes sense. I'm kind of drained a little bit. Okay, 3 + 2, let's go. Knight f3. Aborted. e4, c6. Knight f3, takes. Okay, here remember, we actually entered this line yesterday, and we said, I played knight f6, but it turns out knight c6 is the move. And after c3, I already have no idea. Great. Don't know what to do. Fantastic. Amazing. This time I'll pin them. Then I'll play e6. Then I'll play queen c7 because I want to prevent bishop to f4. It's a little bit against the repertoire, so I'm sure we are out of the repertoire now, because in the repertoire you usually play this setup with the idea of going b5. Yeah, and they're gonna play it anyways. Knight f6, bishop d6, what the hell? Takes with a queen. They have to go back. They're up a piece. It's tempting though. It's really tempting. Takes here. Here. Oh. Let's go for it. A very little calculation. A very little. A very little calculation before. Oh, I can actually go here. Ah, that's interesting. That's interesting. But no, let's go here. Let's play kinda sensible chess. Kinda. I said kinda. They kinda wanna go here, so let's go a6. Prevent it. They now defend. I don't know what I want. Let's just go with this. Let's not worry too much about this. They perhaps want to play c4, so let's prevent it. They really want to play it, so let's annoy them with the queen. Let's switch targets. If they go back, I win the pawn. If they go back here, not the end of the world. The end is where we begin. Let's now try to occupy the semi-open file. I may want to redirect the knight on better places. This one too. There are some nice squares for my knights. Oh, they blast open the position. I'm a little bit surprised by that. What if I go here? So let's first take once. So I take, they take, and I take. Take, wait, take, check. I have a crazy idea in mind. May or may not work. So if I take here, and they take here, I take here, they have to take here, then I take here, and I'm kind of okay. If I take here, they take here, I have to take here, they take here, I take here, they take here, I take here, they take here, I check them, they have to go here, I take here. And then they go here, and then I go here, and I'm fine. So I'm gonna try to go for it. If it's a blunder, it's a blunder, we ball. If it's a blunder, it's a blunder, we ball. Can you imagine the bowling? The bowling of the brawling? That was an insane calculation in like very little time. I'm sure there are many alternatives for my opponent and I blundered 3 trillion things, but well, so far we go into it. Bro, unbelievable. I calculate until here. That's crazy. Like, what? Bro. Nah, that's crazy. That's actually insane. That's actually insane. Nah, that's actually insane. Holy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Check, takes, check, here, takes. Is it winning? Yeah, I can't calculate that well. But I'm setting it up. Setting it up. Ah, now they can't. Now they don't allow me to do that. Well, I'm gonna sneak by. I'm gonna find my way. I'm gonna find my way. Where are you going? Where are you going, dude? Where are you going? Where are you going, my man? Where are you going? I don't know. That's kind of hilarious. Where are you going exactly? I think he has to go here, or he loses. I don't know. What do I know? The rook is trapped. Yeah. He's trapped no matter what. Okay. He's truly trapped no matter what. Well, this is a winning endgame, so it had perhaps more sense to take the other pawn, but it's okay. Yeah, very nice game, very nice game. If my middle game calculations were correct, dude, that was a goated game. That was a goated game. But you're gonna see like 5 blunders, and even if my accuracy is low, I'm curious in that middle game portion. Holy shoot, that was correct. Holy shoot. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So this is all decent. Ah, this is actually wrong. I thought I was a genius. But it's not wrong. Meaning I had better. But this is equal, meaning this shot works. It's just that it's equal, and they made a mistake later in the endgame. But this leads to equality. That's insane. Like, everything was correct. Wow. But this is just equal. But I'm up a pawn in an equal endgame. And it's minus 0.2. No, everything was correct. I calculated correctly. All of this. This is unbelievable. I saw it from where? Exactly. I think I started to have the idea. I may have started to have the idea from here, I think. That's crazy. I calculated correctly. Can't believe this. Can't believe this is one of the greatest games I've ever played in my life. What the fuck? Okay. 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 But opening time. Opening time. And it's crazy that it's minus 0.1 on move 7 in the Caro-Kann. Like, look at this. This is crazy. Everything's on offer, yeah, but, you know, my main goal in life right now is money. Make money. I can't just spend. All of these courses are just the base level, meaning the no videos, you know. So all of these 3 courses together, they may have costed me, like, a total of, like, 75, 100 euros maybe, because also I have the I'm a pro member. I bought it in the past for like 2 years, so I get a discount on an already low price. But less on my cheapness. We transpose, obviously. And knight c6 is the move. And now they played c3. Yeah. So you may think, oh, so c3 is out. But the thing is, I think that in the clickables there is c3. Maybe not, and in that case, okay. But I think, yeah, these are all the lines. Six c3. We may transpose, you know. Just kidding. What the fuck is this? So let's look the overview. No, I think that c3 is really not covered. Yeah, I really think it's not covered. However, C, for example, bishop e2 is covered. And we transpose, look at this, we are transposing to our game. Because I played bishop g4 and e6. So, okay, but the setup with bishop g4 is the correct idea then. After castle, bro, this is the move. And now bishop d6 though. Bishop d6, h3, bishop h5, rook e1, queen c7. So I didn't follow it correctly. See bishop d6. Instead in this position I played queen d6. Queen c7. Which is fine, but yeah, bishop d6 is superior, but queen c7 is equal. Like, it doesn't matter. See, that's the good thing. It doesn't matter. The reason I'm also building this repertoire is because if I ever find myself in this position and I understand the Caro-Kann on a decent level, can those arrows go away? Bro. It's okay if I play queen c7, you know? But bishop d6. I want to add something. Aligning course, because this is gonna take a while for me to find otherwise. So this is the game. Funnily enough, I failed. And this is the line, of course, because I'm never gonna find it again otherwise, you know, it's just... I'm never gonna find it. Let's keep going, come on. Why so slow? Come on. Move. I'm such a big fan of Hikaru Nakamura, you don't understand. He just has such a crazy winner mindset, you know. And you know, there are some people saying he's a piece of shit and whatnot. He probably is, but he's just the best anyways. He's just the best anyways. Okay, so this is a setup that I've encountered quite frequently. It's like they're setting up a fianchetto, and if they play d6 is the typical King's Indian, the move will be d4 then, to kind of play against e5. But they play this c6 d5 instead. It's like a Grunfeld, kind of. And I never know what to do against it, so let's just go with c4. Okay. Just simply supporting this pawn. The queen is defended, so there is no bishop here. Now the bishop's hanging. Let's play queen b3. If they take us, then, well, we have a great pawn structure here. I can hit this bishop, why not? They want to go here. Is this a big deal? What if they go here, though? I have no problem with that. Let's just complete development. First and foremost. What I didn't like about this was this, but maybe it's just irrational. I don't know. I want to kind of flick an h3. Okay, they go here. Not super clear what they're trying to achieve. Not super clear. h3. If they go here, you may ask, so what? It's not clear to me what they're trying to achieve here. I have to be careful though with these moves. I don't see threats from the time being. They move it. Now I want to go here. My idea behind this move... Here, take is not good. Here, take. Here. That's crazy. So if I go here, they take, I take. They take, I go here, forking. They go here, they win the game. Okay. So let me just go here. Let me just go there. My idea with rook here is not much to prevent knight here, but is to play bishop c3 and the bishop's defended. That's my main idea. So that again I may have knight e4 in the future. Or in general my position is a little bit more solid, but they do it like that, so let me just take it. And now I get this square for my knight. Not that it's necessarily a good thing, but I get it. Kind of repositioning my pieces a little bit. Just a little bit. I kind of want to go... Oh, they're threatening here. Then I have to defend. And I have to defend. Okay, am I blundering here? Maybe. Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. Those knights are kind of annoying, but what are they threatening exactly? What are they threatening exactly? And there's no more attack here, so I can reposition my knight, perhaps preventing also knight here. Or as Naroditsky will say, taking the sting out of that. Well, here I have a nice move. I can go here. And if they take, they're almost losing this. And this comes with check. I think I want to go here. I can also go here. What's the upside though? Take. Here. Here. And what's the continuation? I don't see it. If I don't see the continuation, I'm not gonna play the move. I'm taking these games too seriously. I should just move, you know, just move some pieces. Just move some pieces. Okay, let's just defend. Let's just defend. A very natural moves. Defending. We defending. We defending. We defending. I think they couldn't take because of rook p1 skewering the two knights, but I'm not too sure about that. The tactics are crazy here. And the day we know that we gotta find it, we gotta Why keeping it complicated when you can keep it simple? That was probably a blunder. Okay. Let's keep it simple. Where do I go? Here. Hitting this guy. Defending the pawn. Going here. Going here. Going here. Going here. Going here. Restricting the knight. And freeing this square. Don't see the problem with that. I see the problem with that I have no time. That's the problem. Things are getting nasty here. Oh, I had this. Well, I have it now. Oh, I also have this. And he resigns. Wow, what a game. I was almost lost on time. I then accelerated like crazy. I was at 1 second. The problem is I'm taking this too seriously. Who cares about the chess? But see, guys, I'm human. I can't not care about the chess. I can't not care. I can't not care. And I'm having so much fun. I usually don't have fun playing chess, believe it or not. I much enjoy much more studying it and scrolling through chessable lines. I don't have fun playing chess. This is the worst game. This is the worst game ever played. Ever. This is like the epitome of the last person to make the mistake loses. You know? It's just, that's 14 blunders, 13 blunders. This is so good. Look at this. This is horrible. This is so bad. This is so bad. This is so bad. I allowed that knight because I'm like, it's not a big deal. But it was. I should have played bishop c3 first. Okay. h6, knight d7. And here it starts, knight e6, not good. Here already I had knight b6, very nice move. Of course they can't capture because the rook falls. So this is a missed opportunity. It's not the end of the world. Knight h4, perhaps there was something slightly better, but whatever. Now knight d4. And here I played rook. Oh, rook a2, rook a2 hangs the rook. Oh, rook a2 hangs the rook. Rook a2 just hangs the rook. Because here's the thing. My opponent is threatening these two things. This is also a fork. And I'm like, yeah, no worries. No worries. I'm just going to play rook a2. Of course, this blunders the rook. I didn't notice it at all. And I'm like, my opponent is going to take here. I'm going to go here. And there's a skewer. If they go here, there's nothing. If they go here, I just take it. That's crazy. My opponent believed me. And he defended the knight. Because now he's threatening to take, and after I go here, they just move the knight, and this is defended. So I played rook b1 immediately, because I'm like, okay, you can't take here. But this again blunders the rook. But my opponent is like, I'm not going to take your rook, because nobody's seeing this. And I'm like, okay, then I'm going to attack your rook. But the thing is, this again blunders the rook. Now I will just lose an exchange, I guess, but it loses straight up. No, I would actually lose... No, I will lose a piece, a minor piece instead of the rook. But my opponent believed me once again, rook a7. And here again I should save this rook, but no, I play d3. I just play d3. And here, because my position is so bad, my opponent plays knight e6, is not even considered a blunder. That's how bad my position is. But now I play knight f5 check, which again is not terrible because my position is already bad. So the differential in evaluation is not as much. Knight f6, knight takes, and this is completely lost. Bishop takes e6, h takes g4. Again, this is not even considered a blunder now, still hanging the rook because the position is so bad. But my opponent should have captured the knight and then capture the rook and win the game, but he played rook h8 because he saw that this was hanging and he didn't like to give up the bishop. And again, you just save the rook and defends the pawn. But the fact that this rook was hanging, nobody ever saw it. I played d4, and again, hanging the rook, but it doesn't matter. And again, the rook's hanging, but who cares? Knight g7. Well, here is low time. I saw these and the knight hangs, but there are a trillion ways to defend it. It doesn't matter in the slightest. But I went here. They can take here, restrict the knight and probably win the game, but yeah. Bishop f7. Again, the fact that the rook's hanging doesn't matter. Bishop f3. And once again, not blundering this. King f6 is not considered a blunder because it's a fork technically, right? So black's still winning. Knight f5, threatening nothing. You can just take my rook. But e6. This is a blunder because of rook d2, and probably there are tactics where their king is exposed, so this is not really a fork this time for whatever crazy reason in the universe. But yeah, knight h4 again blunders the rook. h5, g takes h5 blunders the rook. Bishop takes h5 blunders the fact that the rook was blundered. King g2 blunders the rook again. Bishop f7. Dude, 1900, nobody was seeing the rook hanging. This is not a blind spot, this is straight up not having eyes at all. b5, no one cares. Knight f3, no one cares. Bishop g6, no one cares about this rook. Bishop takes. And here again taking is so much better, but king takes. C takes b5 again, the rook. C takes b5. And now I somehow play rook d2. I don't even remember playing rook d2. I think that I wanted to attack this, but I'm like, oh no, my rook's hanging. And I thought that my opponent just attacked it or something. That's so funny. This, knight e5 check, which also gives my king an escape square. Well, you know, with the knight here, rook h2 is not a thing, but still. King f5. And here I kind of regain some sort of composure. And here my opponent actually dropped down on time. Quite consistent, quite dramatically. Knight e5. Rook takes a5, now it's over. Rook h2, h3, okay. Check. Yeah, now it's over. Sorry if I spent some time analyzing this, but when I saw this, I'm like, what? Yeah, basically there was this rook hanging and we just completely missed it all the time. I can't even go back because there is... Okay, knight f3. So let's see here when I went out of my theory c6. This is definitely an interesting move. And they always play... Yeah, video upgrade all on sale, but I have to save money, invest, make shitload of money. Then, you know, if you have X amount of money, and let's say $50 is a certain percentage of your portfolio, well, if you have more money, then $50 is a smaller percentage of your portfolio. And this compounds forever. So, until you can, you should have more money before you buy anything. There are reasons why this is not super correct. You also have to invest because of other reasons, but like mathematical reason, like as soon as you get money immediately starts to reduce its value, at least theoretically. So you can always argue and counter-argue forever, but, you know, if you have a plan, and I have a plan, in certain contexts, having more money before you spend it is better. But anyways, so Browse 3. Knight f3, knight f6, g3, g6, b3, bishop g7, bishop here, castle, bishop g3. Yeah, and here's the thing. c6 was played. We may transpose, so let's go d5, c4, c6. Yeah, we transpose. I'm happy to see that we transpose, but I played castle, d5, c4. Is this a transposition? Yes. If I castle, which I did. So this is transposition. So we transpose. This is correct. And technically after c6 there's nothing. But if after castle d5 c4 transposes, after I castle, what else they're gonna do? If they play d6, I think after d4 also transposes. Let me just check. Because here c6, castle, yeah, this transposes, and this transposes. So yeah, definitely after c6, castle is the right move to be played. My opponent just happened to play d5, and after c4 we're transposing. Okay, and now there are 1, 2, 3 moves. What did my opponent play? He took. Is this move contemplated? It's not contemplated. Okay, so let's search course for position, obviously. And let's see those 3 lines. To see if there is some clickable, you know? I'm curious to see what happened. What if I click on another random course? Sorry. I really want to see. Okay, it doesn't redirect me into the lines because that would be like cheating chessable, but on the highest order. So okay, it works, it works, it works. All right. Why there are 4 lines? And why do I have to still learn this? I learned all the lines in this course. What? What? I'm highly confused by this. What line is this? What line is this? This is the quick starter guide. Bye. Bye, quick starter. Don't care about that. Sorry, but... Okay, so... c6, castle, knight bd7... No clickables. Nate Solon doesn't have many clickables. He has in a couple of spots, but no more, which is good for what I'm doing here. Castle bishop f5, d3 respecting bishop. So this may be a correct... yeah, there's no clickable, there's no nothing. Okay, perfect. So my opponent was the one going out of theory by taking. So hey, good, very good. Correcto. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Last game, then I have to go. I have to go. I have to go. I have to go. c6. Okay. This is an unusual permutation of moves. I'm gonna go with c4 though. I'm just gonna defend. If he wants to trade queens, okay. I have an equalish position here. And now I'm gonna develop my knight. Now I'm gonna prepare to develop my bishop. They are forcefully restricting their own knight. I'm not against it in the slightest. Whoa. Questionable choices. Yeah, this opening here is weird. c6 with g6. I don't know if I ever saw it. Okay, so here they're opening up their bishop. Okay. What do I do? Where are they going? Here or here? Let me just try to jump into those squares. If they take, there's a reason why I play rook b1 after all. And also I'm trying to restrict this knight. Knight e4 was a very nice move. Unless the engine says it's a blunder. But I don't think so. Now I'm already ready to double up. I'm enjoying my position. They helped me double up. Thank you. Now I jump in. I jump in. I love it. I love it. I don't care. Bum, 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 do do do. LMAO. There is the tactic of, yeah, they escaped it. They escaped the tactic. Ooh. Why did they escape the tactic? This is unforgivable. I'm taking some space. That's what I'm doing. I'm just taking some space. I want to play this, counting on the fact that now this square is not available. They go back. They go back. So I'm gonna play this now. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it. Okay, well, this is ending now. GG. GG. That was nice. Do they want to go here? I don't think so. What if I go here? Threatening this. I'm not threatening that, there is the knight. Ah, that was a bad move. Not the worst move ever, but a bad move. I just lost a tempo, basically. Terrible. Very terrible. But this kind of allows me to redeem myself because now I'm winning back a tempo. And I'm not sure this is a good choice. Seems pretty dangerous. It seems. This is hanging, I'm aware of it, but I think there are more important considerations to be had here. How can this knight join the action? Join the action. I can take, they have to take, I take here. That's probably very good. Probably. Who knows? What do I know? It's a little bit annoying, but not too much. But not too much. Too much. Wait, this is threaten checkmate. Oh, I'm threatening checkmate. When you threaten checkmate, you're getting close to where you want to go. Like if I go here, I'm threatening checkmate again. It's nice to threaten checkmate because there are chances that your opponent is just gonna die. Which is nice. Metaphorically in the game, YouTube chill. Resignation incoming, perhaps. There are ways to stop the mate, obviously, but well, okay. Those ways includes losing literally all of your material. So, yeah, very nice. It wasn't. Okay, no, it was bad. Right. So I played a decent game. I played a decent game of chess. It's the last game, so I'm gonna enjoy myself a little bit here. I played this endgame decently. Rook b1. I'm happy that I played rook b1. And knight e4, very nice. Very nice. When you play good moves, it's easier to play. Can you imagine? And c5. c5 was wrong. Knight takes. Yeah, what's the point? What's the point though? A rook here and now. Now c5. Now c5. They jump in. And I block them. Okay. But okay, c5. And knight e7. Knight e7 is a blunder. Yeah, and now it's over. Nice. Nice g4. Nice. Is there even a quicker mate? Rook here. I saw rook there, of course. But why? If they take now g4, and this is mate immediately. Okay, but okay, g5 is the same. Yeah, it's a transposition. Very, very nice. Very nice game. But, of course, we're here for the opening. Okay, let's try to see this weird... let's see if there is anything here. Weird, very weird. I didn't do many games today. I was at like 50. I just did 3 games. I'm gonna play again later, and I'm gonna make another video for the occasion. Because 2 little games. I have to reach like 20 or 25 at least. Today, let's do 20. Let's do other 3 games. But maybe even more. Because I thought about it, and I think I want to reach 100 games. Because I don't need to know how many games I make mistakes when it comes to remembering my openings. I just want a statistic to beat. I just want a decent statistic. It's like, okay, I play 100 games, and in 100 games, let's say 60 of them, I don't follow my theory. Okay, in the next 100 games, I want to follow the theory for like 70 games, and the next 100 for 80, and then 90, and then 100 out of 100, or 95, something better. Okay, let's try to focus. So the point of 100 games is not to know exactly the percentage of games I miss, is to have a statistic, any statistic to beat. And not like out of 10 games, because in 10 games there may be randomness. And also it's a big chunk of games, because self-doubt cripples in. If you just do it of 25 strict games, you're like, what if I just got lucky in those 25 games that all exactly the lines that I know appeared? But if you do it on 100 games, even your inner self-doubt can't win, because 100 games is too many to be like lucky. If you make... if for 95 games out of 100 you knew your openings, you know your openings. You know what I mean? Like, there's no space for randomness there, because 100 is 100. Okay, so knight f3. What did they play? d5, g3, c6, bishop g2, g6. Castle, no. c4, no. I'm looking if there are transpositions. b3, no. What if they play g6, c4? What if they play c6? Queen a4, what the So yeah, this move order I think doesn't allow for... Yeah, because on c6, bishop g2 is the best move, right? c6, bishop g2, yeah, so this is theory. And if they play g6, is completely out. Is really out. g6 is really out. g6 is really out. Knight f6 castle. And only bishop g2. Yeah, g6 is really out. g6 is just something that is not contemplated. Castle, bishop g7, c4. Is there a transposition here, perhaps? I don't think there is. e6, d3, but Knight f6. No, d takes. No, this is we are out for sure here. I don't know. This is yeah, no, this is good. This is good. This is good. This is correct. This is correct. Period. This is correct. It's just that now I don't know what to do against this weird move order. I don't know what the engine thinks here. c4. c4, but castling is also fine. But c4. c4. And here, what do you do rather than castling? But let me see. Well, that's definitely not correct. I'm looking at the art transposition or something, but... yeah. Yeah, seems okay. But let's see, c4, bishop g7, queen a4 is a move. And this is similar to that line that I saw. I'm trying to figure out, because okay, it's out of theory, it's fine to play castle, but I'm trying to figure out, like, if you play c4 and they play bishop g7, I guess you just take and play d4. So c4, and what if they take? You go knight a3, what if they play this? What? Oh, okay, I'm gonna go with c4. Okay, c4 is my... c4 is my improvement. c4. c4. c4, yeah, c4. c4. Note, improvement on move 4, instead of castle. And I'm gonna select no. Or perhaps I invent something. Because this is according to course, but is not... because the thing is, in this position here, I hate setups with e6 and stuff. Even though the engine likes it. I don't like things like this. So after c4, they may play e6 immediately. Okay. Yeah. Perhaps doesn't matter. Perhaps doesn't matter. e6, what's the point? Well, after e6, d4 again. And a4. It kinda doesn't matter. It kinda doesn't matter. It kinda doesn't matter. So I play c4 instead of castle, or I play castle? I mean, it's okay. But e5 they may play, e5. Can they play this move? If I play c4... well, now if I castle e5, but I can take. I have this added option. So yeah, c4 is superior because it transposes, but it cuts off the possibility of playing e5. So I'm gonna give myself the... The X. I'm gonna give myself the X. Yeah. But how do I do this? Because I need to have this recorded somehow. I know what to do. I'm gonna create a new course. I'm gonna create a new course, and I'm gonna add lines there. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna do it now. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna call it 100 repertoires, one knight f3, extra. Opening for white, submit. And now I have it here. And now I'm gonna go on studies. And I'm gonna create 100 repertoires. One knight f3, extra. Unlisted, actually like this. Okay, let's go. Whatever line this is. And knight f3, d5, g3, c6, bishop g2, g6. This unique move order brings us out of Nate's Solon course. Knight f6 will be back in the course. And only knight f6 if I'm not mistaken. I'm keeping all in the video because this I think is more useful to you than any other thing. That's how your average self-taught strong club player, because listen, I'm 1957, above 2000 you're not considered club player, you are considered candidate master and up in different countries. It's like 1957 FIDE, I mean. Like a strong club player, which is what I am statistically speaking. I consider myself a noob, and I probably always will, but objectively speaking, I'm a strong club player. This is what a strong club player self-taught with no coach does to improve. Here you have it. Adult, full-time job. Here you have it. I just finished working, and then I started to record the video as soon as I got home. I still have to shower. I'm about to shower in 5 minutes. So, as soon as I close this video. So, if this is not helpful to you, I don't know what to tell you. So, okay, g3, c6, bishop g2, and here knight f6. Yeah, the only move. Okay, knight f6. Yeah. We'll be back in the course. g6, c4, castle. This is also possible. However, allows black an extra option. Bishop g7, c4. If black plays more or less any move, it transposes to the main line. However, here black can play e5. Black equalizes comfortably. Comfortably equalizes. Yeah. Add to the dictionary. Add to the dictionary. Okay. black comfort equalizes with equal. So after c4, bishop g7 with the exclamation mark. Tries to keep a minuscule edge, at least on a theoretical level. Castle would allow e5 transposing to the variation shown previously. Okay, how do we call this? So in Solon's course, this chapter will be Slav. So I'm gonna call it Slav 3g6. Slav 3g6. And so c4 is done. Now what I'm gonna do now is I have this line. I'm gonna. What does it mean, copy row PGN? What's the difference? Well, first of all, let me go here and let me show you how it's done. I go here, main level, okay. Advanced control panel allow you to see all the the information, all these things, manage chapters, main level, you can edit, but for the time being, I don't care. For the time being, I'm just gonna keep it one chapter. Once I start to have many lines, I'm gonna make every bucket. But now, import from PGN, this is how it's done. You can copy and paste, this is my preferred method because I usually do it from here. And here, okay, copy PGN will be this. And copy raw PGN, what is it? What the bro? Oh, okay. Is without the lines and all that. Okay, so copy PGN copies everything. Of course I copy everything, I have to. That's the point of what I'm doing. But okay, interesting to know, very interesting to know. Okay. The repertoires, main level, white versus black. This is just the way it's named. Add main line to the bottom, but there's just this. I don't care. Import all subvariations are their own item. Yes. No, actually no, because that would mean that here I have 3 different lines. Allow duplicate variations. Allow for 2 or more variation with the same moves to be imported. Oh yes, this I want. This I want. Oh, this is huge. I never used it. Okay, import. No. I'm gonna check it manually. Very interesting. Very interesting. Oh, very interesting. I just had enlightenment about something. Yeah, +1 variation. You just click it to make it that right the button go away. And now you have it. Main level. Untitled versus untitled. We are about to fix it in a second. The title, of course, is terrible. Let me do something. I have to do something absolutely important. You guys don't worry about it. I'm opening something in another tab, but don't worry about it. And you guys don't worry about it. Oh, shoot. Oh, no. Why? Why is everything lagging so terribly? I'm trying to load a page, but it's not loading. It's really bad. Trying again. Trying again. That's so bad. It loads everything except what I need. Fantastic. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, my computer is dying because I have too many things open. Second attempt. Can you load? It can't. It can't load the bands. Bro, what the come on. I may have to close the recording because the recording is taking so much energy from the computer. What do I have open? I just have open Chessable. But Chessable takes a lot of energy actually from the computer, I noticed. Bro, I need this thing to load. It never happened that it doesn't load. Okay. Oh, it finally did. It finally did, and I'm fine. Okay, but I don't have much time. Great. Fantastic. So knight f3, d5, g3, c6, bishop g2, g6. This unique move order brings us out of Nate Solon's course. Knight f6 would be back in the course. c4, castle. This is also possible. However, I don't know if however is written the correct way, but let's assume it is. Allows black an extra option, bishop g7, c4. If black plays more or less any move, it transposes to the main line. However, again, here black can play e5, black comfortably equalizes. Yeah, it can be improved, but bishop g7, c takes d5 tries to keep a minuscule edge, at least on a theoretical level. Castle will allow e5 transposing to the variation shown previously. Fantastic. Now let's go to main level. Let's go to edit variations. Untitled versus untitled, we are gonna call it Slav 3g6. Slav 3g6. Actually, 3g6 like that. This should have been saved. So now we go here. We go here. We go here. Slav 3g6. Perfect. I have it in my repertoire. Study all moves is gonna load, of course. One, retry, fail, custom, 1, 1, 1, unlimited. These are my settings. Quiz immediately. These are my settings of every course that I use. It's just best settings. There are no best settings, but that's what I use. Learn. So knight f3, d5, g3, c6, bishop g2, and on g6 we have c4 instantly, and on bishop g7 I take it, which also keeps it independent. Great, done. I can also do this to be like super fancy. To be super fancy. Boom. And I'm gonna okay. One knight f3, 100 repertoires. One knight f3 extra. Here we go. Boom. That's great. That's awesome. Okay, so today you saw me do a bunch of things. You saw me nerd out a specific line from Nate Solon course on the Semislav. You saw me play some blitz and keep going with the repertoire tracker. You saw me add a very important line. And yeah, you saw me do it. So that's great. Now, not only I base my repertoire off of these three courses, but also the extra. Now, I'm not gonna add the line that I studied in the beginning into the Semislav. That's just analysis that I use for myself if I remember during a game. Well, if I don't, skill issue, okay? However, these very first few moves, including this move order, It's just very, very few moves, you know? It's just this. This is considered opening, you know? And after this, there is this. I should have perhaps even added that. Because you're kind of playing against this bishop, you know? It doesn't matter, it's fine. Okay, so, thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your chess. 2 hours of recording? Dude.